Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you very much for joining the ICC White Glove Service Technical Review. We're going to focus on the Unified Access Device Operating System, how to configure VLANs. We'll use the ICX10 UAD as an example. So first of all, what are virtual LANs? It is an IEEE spec, that's 802.1q, and in any broadcast domain that is partitioned and isolated in a computer network at the data link layer. So basically you're subdividing your network out into these virtual LANs, typically more secure between each of these individual virtual networks as well. Now VLANs do allow the network administrator to group different hosts together, and maybe treat those hosts differently, one from another as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at how that's typically set up. So in a wired environment, you typically can have VLANs created through a managed switch kind of environment, or even a smart switch can support VLANs, separating and grouping your different networks. And then even in a wireless environment, you can do very similar kinds of setups via your SSID, and then setting up VLANs that are associated with those individual SSIDs. So how do we do that then within the Unified Access Device Operating System? Well, very, very simply put, there are from a product standpoint, there are really two primary products within the Unified Access Device range. There's the ICX10, which is an indoor access point, and then the ICX20 series, which are outdoor access points based on the antenna type that you select. The software, the Unified Access Device software, is also a single platform software that exists on both of those devices. There are a few minor differences because of them being indoor and outdoor. Each device also supports up to 4,000 VLANs, as well as supports 32 SSIDs, basically 16 SSIDs per radio. So how do we go ahead and get started? Well, so what you have to do is first of all log into your device via the web user interface. The typical, if you haven't actually set a different IP address on your unit, you can start off with the default IP address of 192.168.0.1. Once you have access into the device, you can log in with your username and password, or if you have not already set a username and password, you can use the default username and password of admin. Once you've gotten there, the first thing that you want to be able to do is get to your dashboard. So in the upper left hand corner, you would click on dashboard, and then you'll see this screen come up. So what your dashboard gives you are basically four quadrants, basically with grouped information. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see your overview, your system admin information, the ability to do WAN, ping blocking, self-healing, upgrade software, download software, etc. On the upper right-hand corner are all of your wireless control, such as setting SSIDs and device mode and captive portal capabilities. The lower left-hand side is where you have more network operating features, and then the lower right-hand side is more client and content management control. So we're going to go to the network tab on the lower left-hand side in order to configure our VLANs. So once you've selected network, you would then select VLANs on the left-hand column side of things. Once you're within this screen, you would then click on the Create VLAN button. What then comes up within the Create VLAN button, it gives you the VLAN ID option. You can then set your VLAN, what you'd like that VLAN ID to be. Once you've done that, you would click Submit. After clicking Submit, you'll actually be able to then do further configurations, such as adding interface and protocol, as well as host name if desired. And what you can do is that since you can set up multiple VLANs, you can simply click Save, and it'll save that individual setting. And at the end of entering all of your VLANs, you can then click Save and Apply, and then actually reboot the unit itself, and saving all of your individual VLAN configurations to the device. Now what you have to do, as I said before, based on the number of VLANs that you're looking to create, you'd simply repeat the exact same steps that we mentioned, right? By going to Network, then VLANs, adding a VLAN, putting in the host information that you would like, clicking Submit and Save, and then once you've finally clicked and saved your final VLAN, you would click Save and Apply. Once completed, the unit will actually let you know that it'll take roughly about 60 seconds to apply all of your VLAN settings to the individual device. It'll demonstrate that it is being, all of those settings are being applied to the unit. And then once confirmed, you would then click on Dashboard in the upper left-hand corner again to go back to your main dashboard page. And then what you will see is on the lower left-hand side, your VLAN overview information has now changed and updated. Now what you'll see are the first 2 VLANs that were created, even if the unit supports up to 4,000. But then you can also drill down further to see all of your VLANs. Once you go back and select Network and select VLANs, you'll then be able to get a list of all of the VLANs that were created and all of the individual protocols, the uptime, MAC addresses, etc. for those individual VLANs, as well as add, change, edit, or even delete subsequent VLANs. Now what happens is that in order to then go back to your main page, the main dashboard, you would select Dashboard. And now what you'd need to do, since it is a wireless environment, is then set up your SSIDs and then assign VLANs to those individual SSIDs. So within your SSIDs, you'll be able to group different groups such as employees, guests, etc., and assign VLANs to those individual environments. So within setting up the actual SSID, again, you would click Edit and Add to modify or add SSIDs to the individual RF spectrum that you're looking to update or add as well. Once completed, once selected, you can then go into the Wi-Fi characteristics. It'll then give you the option of naming that actual VLAN, that actual SSID, and then assigning that SSID to a specific VLAN. As you can see in the middle, this SSID is being assigned with guest, all in capital letters. It is not case sensitive. And then you will also then have the option of selecting the individual VLAN at the bottom that you would like to have the guest SSID attached to. You would then click Save, and as before, when setting up VLANs, you can, if you have multiple SSIDs to set up, you can simply click Save, get through adding many of them at the same time, and then click Save and Apply at a later date to then update the complete unit. In this instance, we're also adding a second SSID called Employees, and we're adding the employees to VLAN_30. So the employees would be on a different VLAN from the guests. And as I mentioned before, once you're done with adding all of your SSIDs, you then click Save and Apply to make all of the changes and updates permanent. Once completed, the unit will then update you saying that there's roughly about 30 seconds to be finalized. And again, it'll also demonstrate that it's waiting to apply those changes. Once confirmed, you will see that actually confirmed, and then you would click the dashboard. And then going back to the dashboard, as with the VLAN overview, on the upper right-hand side, you'll see in the wireless environment, you see the list of SSIDs newly created. And of course, those lists of SSIDs are now associated to your individual VLANs. Now that your network is physically set up for different IP traffic on different segments, your physical network setup now looks very, very similar to what you're seeing here, where you have different, whether it's an indoor and outdoor unified access device connected to maybe an ICC networking PoE switch to your gateway or your internet or the rest of your network. But then projecting out the appropriate SSID, whether or not that's guest, admin, or employee, and those SSIDs are then associated with specific VLANs for those individual segments as well. Now, thank you very much. We will be joining and expanding on this segment, talking about different levels of priorities, additional options for layering security capabilities, as well as bandwidth allocation based on service level agreements for your individual customers. So please do see our next short how-to video that will be beginning shortly. Thank you.